Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Anu Joshi and I'm a real estate broker serving Toronto and the GTA. I'm also the founder of Anuvision Group. On today's video, I'm going to be discussing with you the policy interest rate at the Bank of Canada, specifically the most recent raise and what's happened throughout the past year. Most recently, on January 25th of 2023, Bank of Canada raised their overnight interest rate again 0.25%. The target rate currently sits at 4.5%. Now, if we go back to last year, just to take a look at what happened, how it happened, if you've been following along with all of the interest rate announcements, then you'll know exactly how we got where we got. But if you don't, let me show you. If we go back a year ago, so before January 25th, when they increased the rate again, exactly a year ago, on January 26th, 2022, the overnight interest rate at the Bank of Canada was 0.25%. Not 0.25 over something or in addition to something, no, just 0.25%. That was the target rate. As of today, the target rate sits at 4.5%, which is a huge increase. Now, the Bank of Canada meets every single year 8 times. They met 8 times last year. They're going to meet 8 times this year. Last year, aside from the January meeting that they had where they kept the interest rate where it was at 0.25%, every meeting after that, March, April, June, July, September, October, December, each of them saw the Bank of Canada increasing that policy rate by at least 25 basis points. In March, they increased it 25 basis points. In April, they increased it 50 basis points. In June, another 50. In July, 1 whole %, so 100 basis points. In September, 0.75, so 75 basis points. In October, 50 basis points. In December, 50 basis points again. And in January of 2023, they raised it again 25 basis points. So that's basically 8 announcements, interest rate announcements in a row where they've raised it. Now, we don't know if this is going to be the last interest rate increase, right? Bank of Canada representatives and economists have been caught saying different things at different times, and they do sometimes change their tune. Now, what happens in Canada is influenced by what happens in America. Now, the Fed is said to be pulling back on the interest rate increases. They think that they might have a hold on inflation. I don't know. No one knows. It obviously has to play out in the market for you to be able to study the effects of it. But the Fed pulling back or signaling that they're going to pull back may or may not impact Canada. As of right now, they're still raising the interest rate. They did the last time. The next meeting is also set for March, so we'll see what happens. But basically, they've been raising it for basically a year, which is, which is a tightening cycle that they're contributing to alleviate inflation. Now, keep in mind, when you do increase or decrease the interest rate, when the Bank of Canada makes this policy, for it to actually trickle down, some impacts are seen in the market right away. Some others, it takes time for it to trickle down and actually affect buyers of real estate, buyers of consumer goods, buyers of commercial, vehicles, or whatever it might be. So it impacts different industries in different ways, and sometimes it's a sudden effect, sometimes it's a latent effect. So it's hard to tell, and this is probably a question for an economist, it is kind of hard to tell that the effects that we're seeing in the market today, are they a result of the interest rate change that they did in January, which was, just a couple of weeks ago, or is what we're seeing now a result of what they had already done last year, let's say Q3 or Q4 of 2022, and that's playing out in the market now. So if we think that the market is reacting to it, and if we think that where we are now is where we need to be, or we're on the path to it, but this is in response to what happened in terms of the interest rate increases in Q3 and Q4 of last year, then anything that the Bank of Canada does after that point is technically overshooting, right? So I don't want to say whether they are or they're not. I just want to highlight that it is possible because there is going to be a latent effect. The day that they change interest rates, yeah, some things change, right? The banks follow suit and they say, okay, as of today, our interest rate for mortgages or our interest rate for consumer lending is going to be XYZ. So some of those effects are right away. But for that to actually trickle down, to the business owner that's trying to get a loan, to the homeowner that's trying to get a mortgage, until that actually plays out in the market, there's obviously a latent sort of effect. There's a delay in that taking effect and affecting the entire economy, right? So we just have to acknowledge that. So economists have been heard saying that in some cases, it's possible that the Bank of Canada is overshooting. I don't have the answer to that. I'm just trying to highlight to you, what's happening, and just so you understand better in terms of making better decisions for your real estate or for your consumer spending or whatever it may be. Now, the Bank of Canada, as I mentioned, meets 8 times every year. The first meeting already happened in Jan, and the next meeting is going to be happening in March. Specifically, it's going to be on March 8th, Women's Day, followed by April, June, July, September, October, and December. We will see how the Bank of Canada chooses to play its cards, and we'll see what happens to the economy. And as always, I will keep you posted on what's happening and the impact that it has on the real estate market. In the meantime, if you do have any questions, I'll leave all of my contact information below. You can either send me a direct message, send me an email, send me a text, or just comment below if you have a question. I'd be more than happy to answer it. Thank you so much for watching, and if you thought this video was helpful, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and also subscribe, because I do post new and informative videos on YouTube about real estate, about housing policy, and about mortgage financing every single week. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.